20th. I'm Warden Kellum and officially call this meeting to order. Mr. Clerk, to note the starting time as 9 a.m. This time, please bow your heads for a moment of reflection. Thank you. We acknowledge that Perth County is situated on the traditional land of the Anishinaabe. We have a long-standing relationship with the land and water throughout the region. We honor and respect the history, languages, and culture of the diverse, Indigenous, Métis, Inuit people who call this territory home. As a county, we have a responsibility for reconciliation and continued stewardship of the land on which we live and work. Does anyone have any pecuniary interest to declare at this time? Seeing none, if it does arise, you can declare any time throughout the meeting. Moving on to confirmation of the agenda.
Perfect. So through the warning, there's a couple of changes that we will be having on today's agenda. So for removal, we have item 7.1, closed item, a matter pertaining to negotiations planning. And item 7.1, closed item, a matter pertaining to litigation/negotiations CAO. So those two are being removed. One correction to note, in item 9.1.6, the 2024 statement of remuneration expenses for council and appointed committees. There's a clerical error just in the way that the math worked, which will be discussed at the time of the report. We will be adding into the minutes the updated numbers.
Thank you, Tyler. Any other additions? Seeing none, I have a motion reads as follows, that the March 25th agenda be approved as amended. Moved by Councillor Haselberg, second by Councillor McKenzie. All those in favor? That is carried. Moving on our agenda, we have the consent agenda. I believe there are 13 items in the consent agenda. Does council wish to remove any to discuss? Captain Warden Trutowski.
Thanks, Warden Kellum. Through you, I'd like to pull item 6.10, Coleman Township, urgent need for improvements to highways 11 and 17, please.
Great, 6.10 and
just that, 6.10.
Okay, thank you very much. Anyone else? Okay, if you want to speak to it.
Okay, thanks, Warden. Again, through you, I would ask my council colleagues to support. I'd like to make a motion to offer letter of support to Coleman Township and ask my council colleagues to join in on that support. Given the current ambitions to reduce interprovincial trade, it would be imperative to make the necessary improvements and upgrades to Highway 11 and 17 as they would form. Well, they currently are an important trade route across the country, but even more so with the recent ambitions to remove interprovincial trade barriers. That's it. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. A seconder for that? The council order. Questions or comments? All those in favor? And that is carried. Deputy Warden. A resolution in front of me that reads as follows, that council receives the consent agenda items 6.1 to 6.13, excluding 6.10, and approves the March 6, 2025 council minutes. Moved by Councillor McDermott, second by Councillor Wilhelm. All those in favor? And that is carried. At this time, we will move right into, we have a closed session, 3 closed session items for this morning. Motion reads as follows, that Perth County Council move into closed session at approximately 9:05 a.m. in accordance with Section 239 of the Municipal Act SO 2001 C25 as amended to consider matter pertaining to legal advice, finance, matter pertaining to negotiations, particular litigation, planning, matter pertaining to labor relations, individual HR. Moved by Councillor Smith, second by Councillor Wilhelm. All those in favor? That is carried. Thank you. Okay, we're now back in open session and moving on our agenda to 9.1, corporate services staff reports. 9.1, the forestry inspector's report. Tyler?
Perfect. So through the warden, before council is the January 2025 Forestry Inspector's Report prepared by Marvin Smith, the Perth County Forestry Inspector. In the month of January, Marvin completed 5 inspections in response to the submission of a notice of intent and 2 inspections in response to a request from a landowner. The information is before council. If you have any questions, concerns, inquiries, I'd be happy to pass those along.
Thank you. Questions or comments for Tyler? Seeing none, a motion that reads as follows, that council receives the January 2025 forestry report, inspector's report for information. Moved by Councilor Kasenberg and seconded by Councilor McKenzie. All those in favor? That is carried. Thank you. And again, Tyler, 9.1.2.
Perfect. So through the warden, for council is the 2024 Forestry Program Administration Update Report. This is an annual housekeeping report put together by Legislative Services. You'll note in here, just a quick kind of high level, there was 95 notices of intent received in 2024. So we keep track every year of how many notices of intent we get. There's some ebbs and flows throughout the year. There is no consistent. The information is there. One thing to note as well is the bylaw review for the forestry program. This is still sitting with the agricultural working group. I believe that it might be coming up in a future meeting just for consideration, some more discussion on that item, but there's been some great work that has been done on that program. Also to note is the pesticide license renewal. So that has been completed. Again, this is an annual thing that we have to do for the forestry inspector, and it was completed. This allows Marvin to apply pesticides commercially within our geographical boundaries of Perth County. I'm happy to take any questions or comments at this time.
Thank you. Questions or comments for Tyler? Councilor Eggins?
Through Warden Callum, with the pesticide license, does Marvin take a course? Or you just renew it?
So through the warden, it's an annual renewal that we do. He has certification and qualifications that he's taken, but it's not an annual course that he has to take, no.
I find that odd because as a farmer, we have to take a course every 3 years to be certified to, so does he take that course every 3 years?
Through the warden, correct, yes.
Okay, so then what is this extra pesticide license that we have to renew then?
So through the warden, it's an annual that we have to do through the province that he has to register every year to hold and maintain that license.
It's probably as operators, but they probably an operator's license.
Oh, okay, all right.
The commercial piece of.
Councilor Kasenberg?
Do we have any expectation that those lots that are logged, we're counting the number of trees that are being removed from Perth County?
So through the warden, that's something that is not tracked right now. I think we could kind of go back and do an analysis on what the number is as it does fall into the notice of intent form. A general understanding of what the logging looks like, but there's no exact number that is tracked at this time.
You can appreciate the reason that I'm asking is that, we have a tree planting program that we support. We're putting in trees, but we're also taking them out. And so having a sense of net tree impact, I think, would be a useful metric for the county.
Anyone else? Seeing none, I have a motion that reads that council receives the 2024 Forestry Program Administration Update Report for information. Moved by Councilor McDermott, second by Councilor Duncan. All those in favor? And that is carried. Thank you, Tyler. 9.1.3 Perth County Weed Report, and I believe Rachel's doing this.
Thank you. Good morning through the warden. Good morning to council. To follow Tyler's lead, this is an annual housekeeping report as well, prepared by Marvin Smith. This report documents the activity completed by him on behalf of the county as a weed inspector. In 2024, Marvin detailed 21 complaints across the county regarding weeds or invasive species. In his report, he did note that of those 21 complaints, only one was regarding noxious weeds along a roadside maintained by the county. He took the time to commend both lower tier and upper tier staff efforts to control noxious weeds alongside roadsides. All of the information is before you in the report. If you have any questions for me or Marvin, I can pass those along.
Thank you. Questions or comments for Rachel? Seeing none, motion that reads that council receives the 2024 Perth County Weed Report for information. Moved by Councillor Smith, second by Councillor McDermott. All those in favor? That is carried. Thank you, Rachel.
Thank you.
1.4, Corporate Services. Welcome, Annette.
Good morning, everyone. The report before you highlights the activities within corporate services for the month of February. A few highlights. Megan Lockhart, one of our assistant archivists, represented Stratford Perth Archives at the St. Mary's Heritage Fair. There were 121 attendees at the fair. And our display was very well received. It's nice to see archives highlighting some of the services that are offered by the county. Their display included an overview of archive services and our online resources, which included digitized Stratford city directories, pioneer families of Perth County photograph collection, as well as our Ontario newspaper database. In finance, in addition to working on the budget, finance has completed the public sector salary disclosure requirement for the province, as well as the annual employer health tax return. Cybersecurity is obviously very important to the county. All of the staff were enrolled in a Cyber Safe 2025 program, which was designed to ensure that staff are vigilant and are aware of potential cyber threats, obviously to protect our cyber assets. So the course focused on the current cyber threat landscape, a review of cyber incidents, and tips to remain safe. In terms of staffing, there's 2 new staff members I'd like to introduce in corporate services. The first is Claire Drake. She is assistant archivist. She was an archives summer student in the years 2022 and 2023. Claire holds a Master's of Information degree from Dalhousie University and a Bachelor of Global Business and Digital Arts from the University of Waterloo. And I'd also like to introduce Akil Sanin. He is our assistant to the prosecutor. He is a licensed paralegal. He served as a court clerk in Mississauga for several years and a court reporter for the Ministry of the Attorney General. So subject to any questions, that is my update for corporate services for February.
Thank you. Questions or comments for Annette? Councillor Riggins.
Through you, Warden Kellum, I'm just wondering where it's at for everyone moving into the new renovated building. Are all the departments in, or are there some to come yet, or where's that at?
So through the warden, slow and steady, we are making progress. It is a wonderful space. John and his team facilities has been moving people in almost on a daily basis now. Tech services have done an incredible job wiring, setting up people's computer systems. We have signage. It's really been moving quite smoothly. I don't know that we have a projected date yet for reception, but slow and steady. And I think that we now fully have planning, ECDev, myself, some HR, and the CAO's office fully integrated into that building, as well as CEMC. So slow and steady.
Come along very well. I go in every week, and we actually had a WWC meeting there and went very well. When John gets back, I'm sure he'll announce the grand opening, but I'll get down to see it. Or you can just stop down anytime to take a look at it. It's very impressive, very impressive. Any other questions for Annette? Seeing none, the council receives the Corporate Services February 2025 update report for information. Moved by Councillor Wilhelm, second by Councillor McDermott. All those in favor? That is carried. Thank you, Annette. 9.15, 2024 investment portfolio performance. Welcome, Corey.
Welcome. Thank you.
And Dan.
Yes.
Okay with that?
No worries. So this report before you, Warden Council, is the required annual performance of our investments in relation to the Municipal Act. Again, our investments are made up of about $8 million, which remain the same as 2023 in mid-range investments to deal with upcoming projects. The portfolio is segregated into 5 structured notes, and then they are maturing between 2 to 6 years. As the required report under the Municipal Act, It is the treasurer's opinion that all investments continue to be consistent with the investment policy and goals adopted by the County of Perth in the investment policy. And I would just like to note that it's not necessarily timing in the market, it's time in the market. So one of our investments that is shortly going to be coming due was put in 2021, and it's getting significant return, and it's related to a bank note, kind of structured notes. If there's any particular questions about the report, I'll be happy to answer them.
Thank you. Council, questions or comments for Corey or Danny? Go ahead, Councilor Wilhelm.
This maybe doesn't pertain to this. Could you remind me what our last loan rate was?
So the loan rate on the debenture was 4.35% to over 25 years and fixed. For 25 years, 4.35%.
Any other questions or comments? Seeing none, a motion that council receives the 2024 investment portfolio performance report for information. Councilor Eggetts, second by Chairman. All those in favor? That is carried. 9.1.6, is yours again?
Thank you. The next report in front of you is the 2024 Statement of Remuneration and Expenses for Council and Appointed Committees. I just wanted to note that there was a slight error in the totals under the Accessibility Advisory Committed section. This has since been corrected, and I do apologize for the confusion. Per Section 284 of the Municipal Act, Treasurer is to provide Council an annual report showing the total remuneration paid and expenses incurred by each member of Council, as well as members who were appointed by a municipality for 2024. As you can see, the itemized statement is attached as Appendix 1. If there are any questions regarding this report, I would be happy to answer them.
Thank you, Danielle, for making that correction. Council, questions or comments for him? Seeing none, a motion that council receives the 2024 Statement of Remuneration and Expenses for Council and Appointed Committees report for information. Moved by Councilor Smith, second by Councilor Wilhelm. All those in favor? That's carried. Thanks, fellas. Number 10 on our agenda is my activity report for February. Any questions or comments? Seeing none, the council receives the Warden's activity report February 2025 for information. Moved by Councilor Duncan, second by Councilor Eggetts. All those in favor? That is carried. Bylaws. The only councilors wish to give notice of motion at this time. Seeing none. Other business. Announcements. Are there any announcements that council would like to mention this morning? Seeing none. We'll now move on to the confirmatory bylaw. Bylaw number 4021-2025, being a bylaw to confirm the proceedings of council of the Corporation of the County of Perth at its regular meeting held March 20th, 2025, is read a first, second, and third time, and finally passed on March 20th, 2025. Moved by Councilor McKenzie, second by Councilor Kasenberg. All those in favor? That is carried. And finally, a quick one, that our council meeting be adjourned at approximately 9:32. By Councilor McDermott, second by Councilor Wilhelm. All those in favor? That is carried. Thank you, everyone.